with LeBron James and Luka Dončić, they're going to get great shots every time down the floor. Their defense is going to be the question.
The NBA just witnessed something terrifying. LeBron James and Luka Dončić are playing a brand of basketball defenses simply can't figure out right now. The Los Angeles Clippers threw everything they had at them. Different coverages, double teams, physical defense, constant pressure, and none of it mattered. What happened on that court felt less like a regular NBA game and more like a warning to the rest of the league. Because when Luka controls the tempo and LeBron picks his spots, the offense becomes almost impossible to contain. And here's what makes it even scarier. It's not just talent, it's chemistry. Luka slows the game down like a chess master, reading every defender before they even react. LeBron attacks weaknesses the second he sees them. One possession, Luka manipulates the defense with a step-back three. The next possession, LeBron bulldozes into the paint and forces the entire defense to collapse. And once that happens, somebody is always open. That's the nightmare. The Clippers looked completely overwhelmed trying to decide who to stop first, trap Luka, and LeBron gets downhill with numbers, focus on LeBron. And Luka starts carving up the defense with impossible passes and deep threes, stay home on both stars, and the role players start feasting on open shots. There's no clean answer. That's what makes this duo so dangerous. And the craziest part, neither of them looked rushed. Everything felt controlled, calculated, like they already knew where the defense was going before the possession even started. That's the difference between great scorers and true offensive masterminds. They don't just react to the game, they dictate it. This is why the NBA should be nervous, because if Luka and LeBron continue building this level of trust and rhythm, the Lakers are no longer just a playoff team with hype around them. They become a legitimate championship threat, not because of flashy highlights or viral moments, but because playoff basketball always comes down to half-court execution, and right now, these two are turning half-court offense into an art form. The scary truth is that most teams don't even have the personnel to guard one of them consistently. Now imagine trying to survive a 7-game series against both. That's the problem the rest of the Western Conference is staring at right now.
I shot 57% from the field, 45% from three. You three, you guys combined for 900 points. The rest of the team, a lot of points. What do you guys out there?
Just sharing the ball, moving the ball. Everybody's in a good rhythm, obviously. Luka got it going early, kind of set the tone what we're going to be offensively, and then we just followed that train.
What did you see from your teammates kind of to start that fourth quarter, LeBron and AR, opening the game up a little bit before you checked in and joined them there to put it away?
Yeah, I think we played a great game. I think they were hitting a lot of shots, especially in the first half. I think our fourth-quarter defense was great, better than all three quarters. So to close it out means a lot.
Before we break down this masterclass, drop your answer in the comments. Who's more unstoppable right now, LeBron James or Luka Dončić? Because after what they just did to the Los Angeles Clippers, I'm honestly not sure there's a wrong answer anymore. Now let's talk about what really happened in this game, because calling it a bad loss for the Clippers almost feels too generous. This was a basketball breakdown in real time. A full-on offensive clinic delivered by two of the smartest scorers the league has ever seen, and the worst part for the Clippers, they kept making the same mistakes over and over, and LeBron and Luka punished every single one of them without hesitation. The Clippers came into the game relying heavily on drop coverage, which is basically asking for trouble against players like Luka and LeBron. These are two superstars who've spent their entire careers picking apart defenses that give them space to operate. Trying that scheme against them is like trying to stop a wildfire with a garden hose. Everybody watching could see where this was headed, except apparently the Clippers coaching staff. From the opening possession, Luka looked completely comfortable. The second the big man dropped back, he started walking into rhythm threes, mid-range pull-ups, and laser passes to open shooters. And once the defense started creeping higher to stop him, that's when LeBron attacked the paint and started creating chaos. That's what made this so dangerous. The Clippers weren't just getting beat by talent, they were getting manipulated. Every defensive adjustment opened another weakness. Step up too high on Luka, and LeBron gets a runway to the rim. Collapse on LeBron, and Luka starts firing cross-court passes for wide-open threes. Stay home on the shooters, and both stars start cooking one-on-one. There was no safe option. And what stood out most was how calm both of them looked doing it. No forcing shots, no panic, no wasted movement. It felt like they were playing chess while the Clippers were scrambling just to survive the possession. That's the scary part about elite basketball IQ. The game slows down for players like this. The Clippers kept hoping effort alone would fix the problem, but effort doesn't matter when the offense already knows exactly where your defense is vulnerable. And once Luka and LeBron recognized the coverage wasn't changing, they went straight into attack mode, over and over again. Same reads, same breakdowns, same result. By the second half, it stopped feeling competitive, it felt inevitable, and if this version of the Lakers keeps building chemistry, the rest of the Western Conference has a serious problem on its hands.
Dončić the three. Done.
Let's start with Luka Dončić, because what he did to the Los Angeles Clippers defense should honestly be shown in basketball film rooms as the perfect example of how to dismantle a team piece by piece. The Clippers kept going back to drop coverage all night long. For casual fans, that basically means the big man stays back near the paint instead of stepping up to pressure the ball handler at the three-point line. Against average guards, that can work. Against Luka, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Every time Luka came off a screen, Ivica Zubac was sitting deep in the paint, giving him space to operate, and Luka immediately recognized it. No hesitation, no wasted movement. He starts reading the floor like a quarterback, one fake toward the corner, one glance at the help defender, and suddenly the entire defense shifts out of position. Then boom, easy kick-out pass for an open three. That's the problem with playing drop coverage against elite playmakers. Luka sees everything. The weak side help, the rotating defender, the open shooter hiding in the corner. The second you make one mistake, he finds it instantly. And when the Clippers tried keeping James Harden attached to Luka on the perimeter, it only made things worse, because if the big man isn't stepping up high enough, Luka just walks into the lane like he owns the building. Once he gets inside the paint, the possession is basically over. That's what makes Luka so terrifying offensively. He doesn't need elite speed to break a defense. He controls defenders with angles, timing, footwork, and patience. He keeps you on his hip, pins you behind the play, and suddenly you're trapped in what players call jail. That's exactly what kept happening to Harden. Luka used his body perfectly, created just enough separation, and forced the Clippers into impossible decisions. And once Luka gets comfortable, the game starts looking unfair. He can float it over the rim protector, hit the step-back three, fire a cross-court laser to the corner, or slow everything down until the defense completely breaks apart. That's why guarding him incorrectly feels hopeless, because every coverage has an answer, and Luka already knows it before the defense even reacts.
One run, back to Plumlee, his pass intercepted. James now on the other end. Driving on Powell, attacking Plumlee, big shot goes!
The Los Angeles Clippers made the exact same mistake with LeBron James, and honestly, playing drop coverage against LeBron in 2025 is basketball suicide. This is a player who has spent over 2 decades destroying defenses that give him space downhill. If you drop back against LeBron, you're basically handing him the keys to the offense and hoping something good happens for your defense. Spoiler alert, it usually doesn't. Because once LeBron gets momentum going toward the paint, the defense is already in trouble. He's too strong to stop with one defender, too smart to force bad shots, and too experienced not to recognize where the weak point is. That's what makes guarding him so exhausting. There's no safe decision. Chris Dunn got caught in that nightmare multiple times. He kept ending up stuck between 2 bad choices. Step up to stop LeBron, and LeBron fires a pass to the corner for an open three. Stay attached to the shooter, and LeBron attacks the rim or throws a lob over the top. That's not defense anymore. That's survival mode. And the Lakers knew exactly how to exploit it. Every possession felt like a test the Clippers kept failing. The second the defense hesitated, LeBron punished them. One slow rotation, easy layup. One late help defender, alley-oop. One defender cheating too far inside, kick out three. It was relentless. But the real nightmare started in transition, because there may not be a scarier fast break duo in basketball right now than LeBron and Luka Dončić pushing the ball together. Once they get downhill with numbers, defenses panic, and that panic showed all night. The Clippers defenders kept backpedaling instead of stepping up to stop the ball. Kawhi Leonard did it. Nicholas Batum did it, James Harden did it, and against most teams, maybe you survive those possessions. Against LeBron and Luka, that's exactly what they want. Because once defenders start retreating, both stars become impossible to contain. LeBron uses the extra space to attack the rim like a freight train. Luka slows the breakdown just enough to manipulate the defense before finding the perfect pass, and the moment one defender commits, somebody's wide open. That's what made this performance feel so dominant. The Clippers weren't just getting outplayed, they were getting picked apart mentally. Every defensive mistake turned into points, every hesitation became an opening. And by the time they adjusted, it was already too late.
And that grew to not only daily after practice, but every day, and it became a thing. A shot clock to deal with on underneath out of bounds. Dončić from the corner, got it.
The NBA is witnessing something that feels almost unfair right now. LeBron James and Luka Dončić operating at a level the Clippers simply had no answers for. What unfolded wasn't just a win, it was a full-scale offensive breakdown. Two of the most skilled playmakers in basketball carved up Los Angeles possession after possession, exposing the same defensive approach over and over again until it completely fell apart. The Clippers leaned heavily on drop coverage, with their bigs sitting back in the paint and trying to contain space instead of challenging at the perimeter. Against most teams, that can be serviceable. Against Luka Dončić, it becomes an open invitation. He reads the floor too quickly, manipulates help defenders with ease, and punishes any hesitation, whether it's a pull-up three, a drift pass to the corner, or a slow walk into the lane that turns into a high-percentage look. LeBron James treated the same coverage with familiar precision. Give him space at the top, and he'll attack downhill with force. Send help, and he'll pick you apart with cross-court passing or finish through contact before the defense can reset. The result is the same either way, a breakdown. What made it worse for the Clippers was how often the mistakes repeated. Backpedaling instead of stepping up. Hesitating instead of committing. Staying home on shooters just long enough to give up the lane, then collapsing just late enough to give up the kick-out three. It became a cycle of small errors that LeBron and Luka turned into easy points. And in transition, it looked even more overwhelming. Anytime possession flipped, both players pushed the tempo instantly. Defenders were forced into impossible decisions, protect the rim or match up on the perimeter, and whichever choice they made, the offense had already solved it. By the end of it, the Clippers weren't just being beaten. They were being forced into reacting rather than defending, which is exactly where elite offensive players thrive. It wasn't about one bad scheme or one-off night. It was about two players who are uniquely built to punish the modern defensive playbook when it leans too conservative. And on this night, there simply wasn't a counter that held up.
15% of the NBA was not born
that is great.
When LeBron James debuted in the NBA.
That's great.
So that means they wasn't born. I mean,
that's
we in the same.
That means they're younger. They're younger than 23. Correct. Exactly. That's why we up here.
He's still playing. He's still playing.
He's still playing.
LeBron James in transition is a completely different problem entirely. Once he gets a head of steam in the open floor, most matchups simply don't exist anymore. He's bigger than most guards, faster than most forwards, and decisive enough that hesitation is all he needs. So when defenders like James Harden choose to backpedal instead of meeting him early, they're not really defending, they're giving LeBron exactly what he wants. Backpedaling against LeBron is dangerous because it opens up two outcomes, and neither is good for the defense. If you stay too deep, he takes the runway straight to the rim and finishes through contact before help can fully load up. If you step up too late, he pulls up into a controlled jumper or hits the passing window for an easy assist. That's what makes him so punishing in transition. It's not just speed, it's decision-making at full speed. And once he sees a defender retreat instead of engage, the possession is already tilted in his favor.
Well, shifting gears, how do you feel about fitting back into this Lakers offense and what you've seen so far?
I mean, it goes without saying. I'm a Swiss Army knife, so that's spotting up, waiting for getting the ball from Luka or AR, if that's setting pick and rolls in transition, if that's slipping pick and rolls in transition, if that's, if we want to slow the game down in the half court, we want to get some post-up action and be able to create triggers, whatever the case may be. I think, what JJ and the coaches have done, so far, we're playing exceptional basketball with so many injuries so far. Obviously, me being, one of the injuries that we had, but whatever demographic, however the pie, shapes itself on offensively, how we want to play and how they want me to implement myself into the role of the team.
Chris Dunn actually showed a more disciplined approach to how you're supposed to survive against elite creators like Luka Dončić and LeBron James. The key isn't trying to overpower them, it's containment. Active hands, balanced stance, and most importantly, forcing the ball toward help instead of trying to win the matchup one-on-one. The moment a defender tries to body up against players with that kind of size and skill, they're usually playing into the offense's strengths. That's because both Luka and LeBron are at their best when they can initiate contact on their terms. If a defender meets them chest to chest, it often just creates the exact bump they need to generate rhythm, separation, or balance for a clean finish or pull-up. With Luka especially, that contact becomes part of the move. Defenders think they're being physical, but he uses that pressure to set up his step back or sidestep. Once he feels that resistance, he can time the separation perfectly and get into his shot pocket without needing much space at all. That's why defensive success against them usually isn't about stopping the shot, it's about preventing them from getting comfortable initiating contact in the first place.